minimum requirements for constructing a barrier wall between a classified and unclassified area involve several critical aspects. Firstly, the wall's height needs to be at least 8 feet or 2.4 meters. Secondly, regarding construction, the wall has to be solid, non-transparent, and made of an opaque material. Acceptable materials include concrete, brick, gypsum board, also known as drywall, and steel panels. Construction details are also very important. The wall must be securely attached to the floor, ceiling, and any adjacent walls. All seams and joints must be sealed to prevent any visibility or sound transmission. Doorways or other openings must be secured with approved locks or keycards. Fourthly, fire resistance is a key requirement. The wall must have a minimum fire resistance rating of 2 IRs. Fifthly, the sound transmission loss, or STL, is another vital parameter. The wall must have an STL of at least 50 decibels at all frequencies from 125 Hz to 4000 Hz. Sixthly, electromagnetic interference, or EMI mitigation, is crucial. The wall must be designed to shield and minimize the transmission of EMI signals. Seventhly, visual isolation is a basic requirement. The wall must be opaque and prevent any visibility or line of sight between the classified and unclassified areas. 8. Access control is paramount. Access to the classified area must be controlled by authorized personnel only. This may include card readers, biometric scanners, or other security measures. 9th, maintenance and inspection are necessary. The wall must be regularly maintained and inspected to ensure it continues to meet the minimum requirements. Additional considerations may apply. The specific requirements may vary depending on the security level of the classified area and the regulations of the governing authority. It is recommended to consult with a security expert to ensure compliance and optimize the effectiveness of the barrier wall. When choosing materials, consider the fire rating requirements. Different materials offer varying degrees of fire resistance. Concrete and brick naturally provide good fire resistance, while gypsum board and steel panels may require specific fire-resistant treatments or configurations to achieve a 2 IR rating. Sealing all seams and joints is critical for both visual and acoustic security. Use appropriate sealant materials to prevent light or sound from leaking through any gaps. Ensure that the sealant is compatible with the wall materials and is applied correctly. Regarding door and opening security, use approved locks or keycard systems that meet the security level requirements of the classified area. Consider using solid core doors with reinforced frames and security hardware. Addressing sound transmission loss, the wall construction must effectively block sound transmission. This may involve using sound dampening materials such as fiberglass insulation or soundboard within the wall cavity. Double layer construction with stego studs can also improve STL performance. For EMI shielding, consider using metal panels or applying EMI shielding coatings to the wall surfaces. Ensure that all seams and joints are properly sealed to maintain the shielding effectiveness. Regular inspections should include checking for any cracks, gaps, or damage to the wall, seals, doors, and security hardware. Promptly repair any issues to maintain the integrity of the barrier. Document all maintenance and inspection activities. The specific requirements for access control will depend on the security level of the classified area. Consider using a combination of physical and electronic security measures to control access and monitor entry and exit. It is also important to consider the potential for flanking paths, which are routes around or over the barrier wall that could compromise security. Ensure that the ceiling and floor above and below the wall are also secure and do not provide any unauthorized access points. Always refer to the specific regulations and guidelines of the governing authority when designing and constructing a barrier wall for a classified area. These regulations may vary depending on the type of information being protected and the location of the facility. When consulting with a security expert, provide them with detailed information about the classified area, the type of information being protected, and any applicable regulations or guidelines. They can then provide tailored recommendations for the design and construction of the barrier wall. Remember that the barrier wall is just one element of a comprehensive security plan. It is important to implement other security measures, such as physical security, personnel security, and cybersecurity to protect classified information effectively. The height of the wall is critical to prevent visual observation over the barrier. An 8-foot wall is generally considered the minimum height, but a higher wall may be necessary depending on the surrounding environment and potential vantage points. The choice of construction materials will impact the wall's fire resistance, sound transmission loss, and EMI shielding capabilities. Select materials that meet the specific requirements of the classified area. Securely attaching the wall to the floor, ceiling, and adjacent walls is essential to prevent unauthorized access. Use appropriate fasteners and construction techniques to ensure a strong and durable connection. Carefully sealing all seams and joints is crucial to prevent any visibility or sound transmission. Use a high-quality sealant that is compatible with the wall materials and provides a long-lasting seal. When selecting locks or keycard systems for doors and openings, choose products that meet the security level requirements of the classified area. Consider using electronic access control systems that provide audit trails and can be easily managed. A 2-hour fire resistance rating is a common requirement for barrier walls. This means that the wall must be able to withstand fire for at least 2 hours without collapsing or allowing fire to spread to the other side. Achieving an SDL of at least 50 decibels requires careful attention to wall construction and materials. Use sound dampening materials and construction techniques to minimize sound transmission. Designing the wall to shield and minimize the transmission of EMI signals is important to prevent electronic eavesdropping. This may involve using metal panels or applying EMI shielding coatings to the wall surfaces. Preventing any visibility or line of sight between the classified and unclassified areas is a fundamental requirement. Use opaque materials and ensure that there are no gaps or openings in the wall. Controlling access to the classified area is essential to prevent unauthorized individuals from entering. Use access control systems and security measures to restrict access to authorized personnel only. Regularly maintaining and inspecting the wall is important to ensure that it continues to meet the minimum requirements. Promptly repair any damage or deterioration to maintain the integrity of the barrier. Remember that the specific requirements for a barrier wall may vary depending on the security level of the classified area and the regulations of the governing authority. Always consult with a security expert and refer to the applicable regulations to ensure compliance. When designing and constructing a barrier wall, consider the potential for future modifications or upgrades. Choose materials and construction techniques that allow for easy modifications without compromising the integrity of the barrier. It is also important to consider the aesthetic appearance of the barrier wall. While security is the primary concern, the wall should also be visually appealing and blend in with the surrounding environment. Consider using decorative finishes or artwork to enhance the appearance of the wall. When constructing a barrier wall in an existing building, carefully assess the structural integrity of the building and ensure that the wall does not compromise the building's stability. Consult with a structural engineer if necessary. It is also important to consider the impact of the barrier wall on the building's fire safety systems. Ensure that the wall does not obstruct fire exits or sprinkler systems. Consult with a fire safety engineer if necessary. Before starting construction, obtain all necessary permits and approvals from the local authorities. Ensure that the construction complies with all applicable building codes and regulations. During construction, implement appropriate safety measures to protect workers and prevent accidents. Use personal protective equipment, such as hard hats and safety glasses, and follow safe work practices. After construction is complete, conduct a thorough inspection of the barrier wall to ensure that it meets all the requirements. Document the inspection and keep a record of any deficiencies that are identified. Address any deficiencies promptly to ensure the integrity of the barrier. Regularly review the security requirements of the classified area and update the barrier wall as necessary. Security threats and regulations may change over time, so it is important to stay informed and adapt accordingly. When disposing of construction materials from the barrier wall, follow proper waste disposal procedures. Dispose of hazardous materials, such as asbestos or lead paint, in accordance with applicable regulations. Consider using sustainable construction materials and practices to minimize the environmental impact of the barrier wall. Choose materials that are durable, recyclable, and environmentally friendly. When selecting a contractor to construct the barrier wall, choose a reputable and experienced contractor with a proven track record of building secure facilities. Check the contractor's references and verify their qualifications. Before signing a contract, carefully review the contract terms and conditions. Ensure that the contract clearly specifies the scope of work, the materials to be used, the construction schedule, and the payment terms. During construction, maintain close communication with the contractor and monitor their progress closely. Address any issues or concerns promptly to avoid delays or cost overruns. After construction is complete, obtain a warranty from the contractor. The warranty should cover any defects in materials or workmanship. In addition to the physical barrier wall, consider implementing other security measures such as surveillance cameras, intrusion detection systems, and security alarms. These measures can provide an additional layer of security and help to deter unauthorized access. Train personnel who work in the classified area on security procedures and protocols. Ensure that they understand the importance of security and are aware of the potential threats. Regularly conduct security drills and exercises to test the effectiveness of the security measures. Identify any weaknesses or vulnerabilities and take corrective action. Establish a security incident response plan to address any security breaches or incidents. The plan should outline the steps to be taken to contain the incident, investigate the cause, and prevent future occurrences. Regularly review and update the security plan to ensure that it remains effective and relevant. Security is an ongoing process that requires constant vigilance and adaptation. Ensure that the barrier wall and other security measures are regularly maintained, inspected, and updated to meet the evolving security threats.